Today on the Topping Show, Kamala Harris's campaign reportedly paid Beyonce $10 million for a few-minute speech. FEMA admits that they avoided helping houses during the hurricane that had Trump signs outside of them. MSNBC and CNN ratings crashed so hard that CNN is going to have some layoffs. Red Lobster is back with a favorite menu item. Lindt admits that their chocolate is neither expertly crafted nor has the best ingredients. And Hertz is still feeling the hurt of buying their Teslas a few years back. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, Red Lobster is back and they're bringing one of the favorites to the menu. Now this comes with us thanks to CNN Business, which somehow still in business, though, little spoiler alert for the rest of the show. Not for long, apparently. They're having some layoffs, but I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Jordan Valinsky, who is right over there. Says, quote, Red Lobster is bringing back a beloved menu item after emerging from bankruptcy. There you can see their iconic little logo on the little storefront there. And specifically, they say, quote, Hush Puppies, once a staple of Red Lobster's menu, are coming back. Which, interestingly enough, is not a lobster, but apparently some people like it. Say, quote, as part of a broader changes at the chain, which recently emerged from bankruptcy and is now under control of a 35-year-old CEO hoping to turn around the seafood restaurant chain's fortunes. Rolling out this week, the overhauled menu is 20% smaller, but has 9 new items, including the beloved cornmeal fritters. Let's see, you have CEO Demolius saying, quote, there was a social media riot over us taking off the Hush Puppies a few years back. I expect a stampede into our new restaurants because we're bringing back the Hush Puppies, he said, apparently jokingly. Also new on the menu item are bacon-wrapped scallops, a lobster bisque, a lobster, no, I'm definitely going to butcher this, though, not intentionally, lobster pappardelle, and a Parmesan-crusted chicken dish. Red Lobster is also, quote, crafting a new tartar sauce that brings back new flavors from the original recipe. CEO also said he wants to make Red Lobster relevant, compelling, and exciting, which, yeah, it's been a couple years since I've been there. I'm not sure if they'll be able to reinvigorate the brand in those metrics. Maybe some funny commercials will help out. And they say, quote, and they would like to emulate the success of other chains like Chili's, whose sales are rapidly growing after slimming down its menu and focusing on food that people like to eat and share on the TikTok, which one of the most viral apps out there, and businesses are making bank using it, leveraging it with marketing as well, which, and also, cutting down the menu, 80-20 principle applies to most things in life, pretty much most sales jobs. 80% of your results will come from 20% of your efforts. So in the case of a menu, usually 80% of the profits generated on a menu, well, it would probably come from 20% of the items. So there's a good reason to actually cut down on the variety of a menu, which, it looks good to have a lot of variety, but in reality, you make most of your profit from a very small portion of it. And they say, quote, but the chain still has to hold on to the Red Lobster customer base of baby boomers. Around 40% are older than 55, a demographic Red Lobster calls, quote, quality traditionalist, while they also want to bring out a new demographic. They noted that diners will soon introduce new lighting at the restaurants, a new part of the CEO's efforts to attract younger consumers who may have grown up in the chain but haven't been back in some time, which, last time I was there, I think they saved a lot of money by having like 2 light bulbs in the whole thing, which I thought was part of the ambiance because like maybe you're on a lobster boat or something to that effect, but I can see that not being as exciting or whiz-bang fancy colors that some of the folks might want these days. Now, they say, quote, however, one item isn't making it back right away, the $19.99 endless strip deal. CEO said, quote, I never want to say never, but certainly not the way it was once done. We won't have it in a way that's losing money in a fashion that isn't managed, unquote, which, again, that's really one of the best and worst things about the company in terms of people love that promo, but again, they're also losing money. I suspect they should do something more profitable, like, what was it, the cliche place people claim is Italian? Not Panera Bread, Olive Garden? They always had that, unlimited breadsticks, which is mostly, I don't want to say like artificial bread, but like candy sticks, like Subway bread. It's technically bread with all the add-ins. It's illegally, funnily enough, considered a pastry in some countries. but profit margin is pretty good on bread, so you can afford to give pretty much a nearly unlimited amount and not lose money on it. But with shrimp, you can't do that. So I'm not sure if they're going to think of maybe a seafood equivalent with something that has really large profit margins so that you can afford to do some type of endless deal in order to get people in the door. But I mean, it sounds like a lot of people are going to appreciate that bring back the hush puppies. Truth be told, I don't think I've had those in decades. But let me know, is this enough to actually get you to go back into a Red Lobster or spend hundreds of dollars having it delivered to you? Let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have a chocolate company admitting that it's not actually expertly crafted, nor with the best ingredients. Now, interestingly enough, maybe a little retro here, it actually comes from Vice.com, which, well, it's only a shadow of what it once was in terms of building really into unique reporting. Now, this comes from specifically a writer over there by the name of Louis Prada. His quote, Lindt chocolates isn't expertly crafted, it's actually full of lead, which, that's not great. And you can see the little iconic logo stamped on their chocolate over there, which I always did laugh, and they're not the only chocolate company to say it's expertly handcrafted, where I really debate, with all the automation on the machines, how much of it is really handcrafted and really, how do you define an expert? Now they say, quote, Lindt, and truth be told, I don't know any guys who are single who buy chocolate. That's my excuse if I can't pronounce it properly. It's spelled Lindt. They say, quote, Lindt, which I'm not sure, I don't know how good of a name that is. I think of laundry and the lint in there, but I partially digress. Say, quote, Lindt, the world famous chocolatier known for its variety of tasty sweets, has been forced to admit via a class action lawsuit that it may not be exactly telling the truth in its marketing. I know, a major corporation lying, blah, blah, blah. They say the lawsuit against Lindt and Sprung began in 2023 by Consumer Reports, which found that 28 dark chocolate bars containing lead and cadmium, which, it's not great. 8 of the bars were found to have high levels of cadmium. One of those was a Lindt bar. Another 10 of the bars were found to contain lead. One of those was also a Lindt bar. Ouch. Is the quote, and so the lawsuit ensues that consumers felt that the perfectly opportunity to go after the company whose marketing claimed the chocolate was produced were, quote, expertly crafted with the finest ingredients, quote, and were safe as well as delightful, which, I'm not sure. Again, it's been years since I actually opened a recipe book. However, I'm pretty sure they do not call for the addition of lead. There's a time and place for everything. Lead is best used in firearms, not in food. Granted, chocolate isn't food. In this case, treats. And say, quote, unless Lindt's definition of fine ingredient includes heavy metals that can kill you, consumers might have a case here. In the suit, the consumers say that considering how expensive the chocolates are, you expect them to be safer and high quality than the other junk out there. But much than they charge, it turns out that eating Lindt chocolate bar can wind up setting off a metal detector, which I'm not sure if there's that much metal there, but I just appreciate the pun. And I see Lindt lawyers are arguing that the words like excellence and expertly craft are just puffery, aka exaggerations that no one in their right mind would take seriously. I don't know how much puffery you can do there. Yeah, some of these chocolate bars actually have pictures of someone hand whipping chocolate in a bowl and mixing it. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and if at the end of the day do they have to pay a fine, and how much sales to decrease. Which actually, truth be told, I don't know who's buying luxury chocolate these days, but yeah, definitely not good PR for that company. Again, we'll see if it's proven. We'll see if it's proven in court. You're innocent until proven guilty, but not looking good for the chocolate company. And yeah, can't but think probably not. Well, I would never buy chocolate to begin with in the current situation, but probably not going to. I don't think anyone's going to be buying their chocolate in mass quantities anytime soon. And perhaps again, maybe this will be proven in court of law, and maybe they'll end up in the business blunders of the day. But let me know when was the last time you actually saw this on a shelf, you had purchased a Lindt chocolate. Let me know, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the culture part podcast, you have MSNBC ratings crash hard as fewer and fewer people tune in, with one of the most ironic things being, Joy Reid works over there, and Kamala Harris's campaign was full of joy. However, she failed in every swing state and pretty much every metric. So we're losing joy perhaps in several ways. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on the good old X, in which he says, quote, MSNBC ratings collapse. Joy Reid is down 54.6%, which, hilariously, one of the most ironic names in history. I've never seen her happy or full of joy. Now, granted, much ground to stand on. I don't think I've actually had a pizza in maybe a decade, and my name is Topping, but I partially digress. She said, then you have Ariel Milber, who's down 49.6%. Chris Hayes is down 47.2%. Alex Wagner is down 53.6%. Morning Joe is down 39.6%. Stephanie Ruley is down 67%. Ouch. You also have Andrea Mitchell down 39.7%. So things are not looking good at MSNBC and all 18 people who used to tune into that show, or at least check out their website, which granted I do from time to time because I don't want to get stuck in an echo chamber, so I'm always interested to hear what they have to say, even if it's mostly mentally vacuous. Now this went pretty viral. I got 2.7 million views as well as 68,000 likes. With one of the first comments coming from Gunther Eagleman, who says, quote, LOL, they're all propagandists, getting 1.7 thousand likes. Planet of Memes gets an A+. He did, in fact, respond in meme form. It's like, quote, X is the media now. There's a picture of Trump. It's been turned into a cartoon. I'll attempt his vernacular, or more accurately, his accent. And it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. It's a real picture of Trump, but it has a speech bubble. It says, fake news, you're all fired. X is the media now. Which sounds close enough, maybe. And I got 1,000 likes. Not me, but, that specific meme. Though, a friendly reminder to like this video. Or downvote it and tell me why in the comments. Paul Zazupa also says, I'd be surprised to see anything different, getting 241 likes. Final World simply says, fantastic, getting 798 likes. John says, MSNBC's ratings are crashing because people are sick of the fake outrage and biased narratives, unquote, getting 1.5 thousand likes. Tony says, fake news is down, X is up. They got 3.3 thousand likes. We also have, going down more and more, Stelusco saying, Joy Reid lost half of her audience. That's roughly 10 people, give or take. Getting 850 likes. Scrolling down more and more. I Love American News says truth. It has a picture of a Olympian sprinting way ahead about the other competition, and he has the X on his chest while the other one is labeled Legacy Media. He got 531 likes. Ike's Forum Underground says this is how we say goodbye to the Legacy Media model. And it's a picture of Trump at the fast food, McDonald's is going to wave, and McDonald's is relabeled X. They got 809 likes. We also have Dogface Ponya saying about time people figured out MSNBC is filth, getting 167 likes. American Brush Fire says, quote, turns out people don't like being lied to, scolded, or talking down to, getting 225 likes. Let's see. Austin Griffith says, quote, I'm convinced that the only people watching are conservatives clipping them to post online, getting 278 likes, which that's not a negligible amount of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people who watch it ironically or, yes, just to get content. Let's see here. Anyone sticking up for the news network? No, not so much. Mary says, can't wait to see this racist hack be fired. It's a picture of Joy Reid looking even more angry than usual. She's saying something, getting 68 likes. So she did suit up, which I guess she did something, correct? Maybe? No, not really. Donnie Marie has a picture of Tombstone. It says, mainstream media, 1990 to 2024, lied and cheated till death, the end. Getting 97 likes, which, yeah, again, the number of people who actually trust MSNBC, I can't think are too, there can't be too many of them left. But yeah, MSNBC, I don't think anyone's going to miss. And again, with so much revenue, I don't think they'll ever go away. I think they're going to scale back the company. I think they'll probably have to do some layoffs. And maybe they'll find gainful employment the three-letter agency in the government, unless they purge that. But let me know, what do you think the future is for MSNBC? And have you ever tuned in authentically to appreciate what they do? And this is the same company where they admitted via an undercover reporter that they purposely made their audience more stupid and more emotionally outraged over intellect to hate Republicans. And they also said they're doing everything possible to push the Kamala Harris campaign and make them look good. Clearly, they were not effective. Well, at least that's the second part. But let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have CNN having major layoffs after their ratings tank, which, yeah, we'll see how culturally relevant CNN is. It's usually the butt of many jokes these days, but still people used to tune into it. Now, this comes with thanks to Alex Hammer, who's a writer at the Daily Mail, which they say, quote, CNN will ask top stars in layoffs that will see hundreds fired as ratings continue to tank. Now, specifically, they say, quote, CNN is planning to wield the axe on some of its high-paid staff after dismal election ratings, the cap off a disastrous period for the cable news network. According to the explosive new report from Puck, network executives will unleash sweeping layoffs in a bid to save the network's flailing reputation, which, I mean, if reputation is so far down, could it really be salvaged at this point? Like, I know they got a new CEO, but was it 8 months ago? Made some changes, but yeah, there's such a leftist company. I mean, it's almost like trying to save Disney. When you fired anyone who disagreed with their culture or their policies, I don't really see, unless you've got the entire company, how you could possibly rebuild to make it less biased. Now, they say, quote, this comes after the departure of stalwart Chris Wallace, and senior report stars like Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper have both been denied raises, which, yeah, there's probably a reason for that. You're either losing money on them or they're not as profitable as they need to be. Now, they say there's no mention of who may be on the chopping block. The highest paid stars include Anderson Cooper, who makes $20 million a year, as well as Aaron Burnett at $6 million. And they say a rising star, debatably, Caitlin Collins at $3 million, which Anderson Cooper gets $20 million. Do people really tune in? Do people really tune in that much to him to justify that salary? Because again, they have to make a profit, like most businesses. So they they must think he generates them 2 or 3x more in profit. I'd be really surprised if that was the case. They say, quote, in the next few months, I'm told CNN will implement another round of layoffs that will impact hundreds of employees across the organization. This is from reporter Dylan Byers, referencing CNN's recent 100-person layoff over the summer. The fresh round of firings will be more geared towards the production side of things. As a result, reporters and correspondents will be required to cover their slack, they said, describing how on-air workers will be asked to assume more of the responsibilities once handled by a team of producers and production assistants, which, let's be honest, once you get to this company size, there's also a lot of fat you can probably trim from the budget as well, in addition to inept employees. They say, quote, some of the on-air talent are likely to also be affected. Sources who spoke to a reporter who worked at CNN for 3 years before founding Puck added how the looming layoffs are part of an overarching plan, one that puts a premium on the station's digital platforms. The man behind it, they said, is none other than new CEO Mark Thompson, the former New York Times boss brought in to overhaul the network under its Warner Bros. Disney parent. The old BBC boss filled in this position left by languishing leaguer Chris Leitch this past August. Since then, the ratings have fallen more than 20%. So, not looking good for the new CEO for the ratings to drop 20%. That's Caitlin Collins? Really? Huh. Interesting. Although, I do like green, so I'm biased, I think. Well, at least the dress looks good. Now they say, quote, under Lindt, the tenure that lasted a little over a year, the station fell from being the most watched cable's new network on election nights to one of the least, which alternative media won the election night. I mean, everyone was tuning in on Valuetainment, on Louder Crowder, Daily Wire, Teamcast IRL, the Topping Show too. But yeah, you look where the audience was, it wasn't on legacy media. They say, quote, in 2016, when it headed a since ousted leaders Jeff Zucker, it was the most watched news network overall, a distinction that's now held by Fox News, which they've also fallen pretty far too. At the time, CNN had averaged 13.3 million viewers in primetime. Today, it's 800,000, which, yeah, I don't see how that's profitable or sustainable. They also know that Fox News, a lot of their top personalities are getting about 2.8 million during the prime time. So when Fox News is doing better than you know you're in trouble. And yeah, it looks like I don't think anyone's gonna miss them on social media. Now, going to social media, actually, Charlie Kirk reposting this when she said, quote, breaking, CNN to fire stars, hundreds of staff as the network's ratings continue to tank. It got 1.8 million views and 44,000 likes, which Charlie Kirk, again, I think he's awesome. So I'm especially impressed getting 1.8 million views. Just his posts on social media is getting more views than, multi-million-dollar production companies, which, again, no, not to talk down about Charlie Kirk's production capabilities, but in terms of an ROI, a post on X got 1.8 million views, and, hundreds of millions of dollars production companies, they're getting barely 800,000 people to tune in. I know this is still art or like a still post or picture compared to a live video production, but his videos are getting more hits too, which, yeah, further proof that I do believe that the legacy media is in fact dead. Now, I also got 44,000 likes. One of the first comments comes from David Sachs saying, quote, legacy media tried to destroy Trump. He destroyed them instead. Yep, getting 1.6 thousand likes. Planet of Memes, a little disappointed they did not respond in meme form, said, quote, they are welcome to come to X to become independent journalists, getting 210 likes, which some of the individual personalities might do that. Again, I'm sure some of them have cult following where they have their fans who follow them to a new platform. I'm not sure if that's enough to sustain it. If they trim their staff, it's just, them and one or two other people, that might be sustainable from a business model. We also have Paul Zupa says, quote, great news for truth in America. Getting, wow, 607 likes. Elon Miles Chong says, good riddance to bad rubbish, getting 528 likes. The Texas one says, God is good, getting 54 likes. A little random, but still well perceived. Let's see. Thomas Musket says, also MSNBC is going up for sale according to Comcast president. Media is dead. Really getting 910 likes. Now, that being said, who the hell's going to buy them? I think they own the intellectual property for The Office. That's worth something. Kind of a crapshoot when it comes to production of media. You get lucky, you get a hit sitcom, that's going to make you money for many years. Most of them, unfortunately, are not winners. They certainly have that in their portfolio. I think they own the Peacock streaming platform, which is enjoyed by about approximately 18 to 24 people who pay for Peacock streaming. I'm not sure if that's enough. I don't know. Who would buy MSNBC? Maybe Amazon? They got nearly unlimited money. They might want their vault of media and intellectual property. Also have I Love American News says CNN chooses poorly. And it says CNN, the most trusted name in Kamala agenda, getting 208 likes. Sarah Smith says CNN is going down. It says this is CNN, where the truth doesn't matter and everything's made up, getting 351 likes. Let's see. Use common sense, spelled CENTS. Interesting. Says, quote, is it wrong that I love this so much? Getting 269 likes. Red Wave Press says, quote, CNN is cleaning house. Getting 239 likes. Anti-woke memes, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form, says CNN's fake news passed on. As a famous reporter who had safety goggles and a gas mask or safety respirator, and it's in front of a fire saying fury, but mostly peaceful protests after police shooting. That's one of those famous instances. And they also have another picture that says some Trump supporters say America isn't a democracy. Yeah, mostly peaceful protests. And yet there's literally riots and fires behind the reporter. That's one of those hilarious juxtapositions of reality versus CNN. It also got 330 likes. Anti-left memes says CNN is fake trash, passed on. It's I guess they inverted the C. So it says DNN, it says Disinformation News Network, getting 82 likes. Torsten Perstau says, quote, I don't mind sounding like a broken record. They simply should just shut down CNN. There's no need for propaganda TV. This Communist Hammer Sickle says CNN is Communist News Network, getting 23 likes. Cameron Gilliam says the legacy media is dead. We see the media now, and we the people are taking back our country, getting 74 likes. Which, yeah, when I talk to most people I know are enjoying media that's, I'd say individually produced or more of a niche produced in terms of mainstream or as opposed to the mainstream. And I think it'd be interesting to see where the investment dollars go in terms of, do they start bolstering those companies so they can expand even more? Or will they just organically grow over time? Or how might that change production value? But yeah, not too surprised to see it. CNN's going to have even more layoffs. I mean, granted, after the 2020 election, their ratings dropped about 40 to 48%. And they just keep dropping more and more. I mean, one of the worst ROIs in history was CNN. They attempted to have an app, I think it was CNN Plus. And the acquisition cost for a customer, in terms of they had a free trial and see how many people convert to pay for it, and they pay for marketing, they lost the cost to get a customer is like $58,000 per customer, which is insane. You'll never make your money back. They obviously shut down the app later, or pretty soon after that. That's how woefully inept it is, and that's how few people would actually pay for CNN, let alone tune in and, I was going to say, enjoy it, perhaps tolerate the content. But let me know, do you think they'll find gainful employment at a competitor? Do you think the industry the industry itself in terms of just the mainstream media just decrease in size? Well, I would say it's already less efficient, but in size and scale? Let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, the Kamala Harris campaign reportedly paid Beyonce about $10 million for a quick little speech and influencing, I was about to say dozens of people perhaps, because obviously it didn't work. Which, again, if you need a celebrity to tell you to vote, either side for that matter, I don't know if you should be voting. Again, especially, and she's a musician apparently. She makes music and sounds out of her mouth. I don't think she doesn't even write her own music, so I seem more pathetic. And yet they thought she was influential enough to change. But maybe she just sway 18 voters. Who knows? But I don't think it was really effective in terms of a dollar amount. Now this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, when she says, quote, the Kamala campaign reportedly paid Beyonce $10 million. All Kamala got was a 5-minute speech. I wonder how her donors felt about this, which I don't want to say they're mostly mentally vacuous, but I'm sure they're Beyonce fans. When you look at who the DNC props up, it's all about celebrities in Hollywood. That's where a lot of the money, that's where a lot of the advertising dollars go to. I mean, there are still some portions of Americans who believe they should worship celebrities. Ridiculous. You shouldn't. No one should. I don't understand why people have such a fascination with them. But there are some people who literally they'll take advice from Hollywood, even though they're mentally vacuous and well, shoot. I was gonna say we'll not get into the Diddy of Hollywood and all the cults over there, but I partially digress. So I'm pretty I got 1.5 million views and 36,000 likes. There you can see Beyonce at the podium, which she also apparently read from. Did she read from scripts too? I mean, pretty sure that's what she does for a living anyway. But nevertheless, one of the first comments coming from this is Valentina Gomez. It's this quote: "She should have asked for her Diddy discount." Gained 1.3 thousand likes. Gunther Eagleman says, "Quote: The donors got paid." Unquote. Gained 444 likes. Now, Libercat Media TM says Kamala Harris raised $1.2 billion and ended her campaign $20 million in debt. If she can't even run a financially responsible campaign, how could she ever responsibly run the federal government? That is who Democrats want to run the country. Let that sink in, unquote. Getting 862 likes. Sorry, 52 likes. We'll make it 53, actually. I mean, that being said, went up like a stock right before our eyes. 358 likes now. I mean, that being said, I don't know how many people... I mean, they're the side of fiscal irresponsibility. And don't get me wrong, Republicans waste a lot of money too. But yeah, we definitely need to rein in our spending in the United States and be more efficient. Again, we're almost $36 trillion in debt. It's ridiculous and definitely not sustainable. But yeah, that is hilarious. I mean, look at California, look at New York, look at Illinois. Most of them are fiscally bankrupt. They're running a deficit. And it's even more pathetic when you look at California because they have some of the most largest profitable technology companies on the planet, and they tax them to hell. And they still don't have enough money. They still know how to operate functionally. Now, one of the other top comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, "No wonder the debt has blew to by 9 trillion under Biden-Harris, getting 96 likes." Thick Eggshell says, quote, "Imagine the amount of spending 4 years of Kamala would have given us, getting 5 likes." Now, another debate is who's really pulling the strings there. I'm not sure if she would be really the one realistically making the calls. James says, quote, "Can you imagine being from the middle-class family and you donate to Kamala to see her turn around and give millions of dollars to celebrities for their endorsement? It's a sham." Getting 706 likes. Which, yeah, well, let's just say a lot of big tech donated to her. That's a fascinating juxtaposition of the two parties, this year especially. Pretty much every big tech company backed Kamala Harris, and every employee at those companies also backed her as well. And you look at who supported Trump, there's a lot of working men. Interested in a lot of investment companies, which makes sense. VCs or venture capitalists usually thrive when there's less regulation and booming economy. But it is interesting, but not surprising to see, which party raised the most money and where the money actually came from. Let's see. Brian Kennedy says, quote, "Kamala paid this person to represent her." Is this a celebrity too I don't know about? Rudimentary fashion. She has some type of dress that looks like it's made up by scarves. Though perhaps a good ROI. The scarves look like they cost about $1 per unit. And if she has about 10 scarves that cover her, maybe about a $10 outfit. So maybe at least it's I don't know. That may be too fiscally responsibly. I don't know. Let's see what she has to say.
Tell these niggas that their dick is hot. You gotta tell babe, yo, your dick smell like mustard, my nigga. You gonna throw my pH balance off.
The eloquence of someone, I think she's a musician allegedly. I got 515 likes, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, just your average Kamala shill. Yep, no eloquence, I love how there's no eloquence in terms of why should you vote for these people? Why should you vote for Kamala? Here's 3 points. Here's 3 bullet points or policies that would really help the middle class, really help the economy, really help the average American. I'm still waiting for those bullet points. Truth be told, I don't think they ever existed. Going down more and more, you have low-key Rev saying, quote, "If these celebrities really believed in Kamala and really felt that Trump was a major threat, they would have offered their services for free," getting 438 likes, which I would love to see the breakdown, like the line item cost sheet for the Kamala Harris campaign, to see how much of that money went to, again, there's a lot of money for online creators. A lot of people allegedly saying they got 20 to 50 grand just to read from a script, which, geez Louise, so much money wasted. The Liberal Lampoon says if Beyonce really cared about America, she would donate that money to our homeless vets, getting 175 likes. Well, she probably needs it to pay her writers because she can't write her own music. I'll never understand the cultural fascination around Beyonce. You also have Red Wave Press saying, quote, "The Kamala Harris campaign is likely the most used to launder money from foreign governments. How else do you explain $1 billion in campaign donations, getting 348 likes?" Well, I mean, I think a lot of it was also big tech and a lot of major businesses. I don't know if it's necessarily from laundering money. Pretty sure that's what we have Ukraine for. Although it's kind of a sad joke because we spent nearly $200 billion over there for someone who's not even our top 10 trading partner when we have so many issues here we could use that money for, but I partially digress. Coco says, quote, help me understand why Beyonce needed to be paid for her sport, getting 198.6 likes. Florida 1 says, she's overpaid and she doesn't care. Money management or business management was not a concern of Kamala's. She was a tool doing what she was told, getting 118 likes, which I think a lot of people suspect that. Alex also says, and she wanted to, quote unquote, fix our economy, can't even handle her campaign funds. Good point. Getting 544 likes, which, yeah, that's a good point. How do you lose, like, it takes real ineptitude to actually lose money on a campaign. Like, historically, people get angry at people running for office because many times there'd be actually a surplus, and the legality of the debate would be, what do you do with that money after? Which some people saying you should be able to use it towards any of your political activities. Some people say you should give it back. And there are some rules and regulations around that in some gray areas. It's usually a point of contention and debate after an election, like, what do you do with the surplus? And yet, she ended up losing $20 million, and also, of course, losing the election as well. So it'll be interesting to see if I want to know how much for every one of these celebrities paid. And that's a good question. Do the average donors, like Kamala Harris, like the people who support her, I mean, do you think they really care about that? Do you think they just think, well, I love celebrities, they deserve their money? I mean, in terms of fiscally, celebrity got paid, $10 million for a 5-minute speech? It's almost like something like Hillary would do or Hillary would do. Which I should actually say for the record, Hillary is an exceptionally brilliant and beautiful woman, not at all having a statistically impossible number of people around her commit suicide. I think it's 21 to 28 of her people close to her. That's just a coincidence, obviously. And I also want to say for the record, coincidentally, I plan to live a long and healthy life and would not ever die prematurely. Just coincidentally, I want to throw that out there. But let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Do you think they're going to be irate Kamala supporters saying we want that money back, or you shouldn't have given Beyonce and all these celebrities these millions of dollars? Let me know, because as always, it'll be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, FEMA admitted that they avoided helping Trump supporters when they actually had the sign posted outside, which, another conspiracy theory perhaps proven to be true yet again, or as many people are calling them, just previews. Now, this comes to us thanks to the Daily Wire, and we also actually have a video of one of the FEMA representatives speaking as well. Now, the Daily Wire says, quote, exclusive internal messages obtained by the Daily Wire show a FEMA official ordered relief workers in Florida to not help houses with Trump signs. Now, let's see if I can blow up that image on the screen here. And it's not too easy. I'll read it out loud, word for word, as well as the highlighted part. Now, they say, quote, implement best practices. No one goes anywhere alone. Makes sense. Disaster relief. Maybe an alligator attacks you. In all seriousness, something follows up. Something hits you, get knocked over. That makes sense. I think everyone agrees with that. That's not too controversial. Then you have what is this? Frequent breaks and drink water. It makes sense. You don't want to be dehydrated. You're working pretty hard. You're outside. It makes sense. Avoid high salt diets and coffee. Again, it makes sense. You don't want to be dehydrated. I get that. Coconut water is a fast way to replenish your electrolytes quickly. Interesting idea. Pretty sure the traditional thing is Gatorade or Powerade or one of those types of sports drinks that usually taste and are, interestingly enough, named like male body wash soaps. But no, that makes sense. They say bring a towel with you tomorrow in the field. I guess it makes sense. You want to stay dry. Communicate and follow the rules. Makes sense. Practice de-escalation and preventive measures. Makes sense. Here's what doesn't. Quote, avoid homes advertising Trump. And people wonder why there's such a disdain for the federal government and FEMA. Again, we spend how much in taxes every year? And how much do they actually help American citizens? I can't help but think it'd be a soul-crushing small percentage point. And also probably be soul-crushing how much of it goes to overseas, to countries who don't do business with us, and most people can't point to on a map, but I partially digress. This got pretty viral on the X Twitter. It got 20.9 million views and 49,000 likes. With one of the first comments coming from, let's see here. Valentina Gomez says, people lost everything in the government. Employees are worried about political science. Traitors getting 1.6 thousand likes. Let's see here. Now, they also had an update saying FEMA confirms it, saying it was deeply disturbed by this employee actions and horrified it took place. I don't know about that. Spoiler alert, I think we have this that employee actually in the next video here. I also have Livercat BTM says, what the actual F? This person needs to be found, prosecuted, and jailed. His actions could have caused people to die. F these woke leftist POSs. Getting 108 like. Which they are not, I don't think he's referencing POS systems like point of sale systems, like when you go to a restaurant or a checkout store. You also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, this is beyond shameful, getting 295 likes actually. JG Sharp says, Mayorkas is one of the biggest traders in American history, getting 3.1 thousand likes. Scrolling down, you have Like with memes, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form, saying, quote, the best practices said to seize aid supplies, forbid anyone from going to help, and leave Trump supporters to suffer and die. There, I believe this, I'm not sure if this is AI, but it's two gentlemen in a helicopter with boxes that say aid and says, is a cure for male loneliness illegally smuggling aid to flood victims without government approval? And that got 1.1 thousand likes. Could we make it 1.2? No, but we did like it nevertheless, which, yeah, they couldn't accept donations or, perishable like food or waters if you weren't on the approved list of vendors. Which shows, do they really care about helping people or just bureaucracy and government, fulfilling certain contracts? Which again, it makes sense if you have a government contract that usually goes to the lowest bidder, but in the time, shouldn't be whoever gets the supplies there first, especially when people are trying to donate them, but not even charging. Yeah, FEMA said can't have that. They actually stop people from helping. That's perhaps one of the best metaphors actually for the U.S. government. Tax Smart says, quote, now think of the Helena response in Western North Carolina and Tennessee. They intentionally abandoned these people. Freaking infuriating. Getting 1.9 thousand likes. Expose Them says, FEMA was already on life support, but this ought to convince everyone it's time to pull the plug. Getting 915, let's make it 916 likes. Dana Fauci says, quote, this is criminal. Getting 437, let's make it 438 likes. Bob Starr says, totally insane. Treason. Let's go ahead and hear what the individual has to say. Now this is, and thanks to End Wokeness, this is, quote, holy shit, FEMA official Miriam Washington admits Trump supporters were denied aid in North Carolina in addition to Florida. Let's see here.
I was fired. They all
So she's saying she's a scapegoat. So let's hear what she has to say here.
stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on two different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports, stating that.
And this pretty well got nearly 1 million views as well as 17,000 likes. The first comment comes to us thanks to Paul Zupa, saying, quote, she's also implicating her bosses and their bosses. She says this is systematic. This is a massive scandal that needs full investigation, committing hearings, and indictments. Getting 735 likes. We also have AKA saying, quote, but the fake news said nothing was happening. Getting 505 likes as well. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, the people need to be fired and jailed. It's time to defund FEMA. Getting 579 likes. That's Fast 84 says these people in North Carolina died. Disband and arrest, getting 205 likes. Let's see. Thick Eggshell says another conspiracy theory turns out to be true. It's a screenshot of Joe Biden. It says, watch Biden calls Trump hurricane claims un-American. Getting 19 likes. Livercat Media TM says, quote, to be honest, I actually believe her. I can't see a low-hanging fruit like this who didn't even vote in the election having such a vendetta against Trump supporters. She seems to be a scapegoat who happened to follow orders that came down from the top. If you keep digging, you'll find exactly who told her to do what to do and how to do this. Getting 24 likes. Now, that being said, she still followed orders, so some people say maybe she deserves her job, about that, or get her job back. America Papa Bear says, quote, she needs to face charges big time, getting 83 likes now. Karen Kennedy says, quote, I'm a certified in FEMA disaster relief management. She is telling 25.25 of the process. She's caught, and now she tries to pull rank and explain her racism. She can't gaslight me. I took the training as she did. Gained 1.5 thousand likes. Bruce Palau says, quote, Biden-Harris regime will go down as one of the most hateful administrations in history, getting 519 likes. So, wise man, what's said depends on who's writing those history books. Hopefully, if it's get rid of the Department of Education, we actually have qualified books and qualifications of being a thing. Ginger says, quote, DEI gives federal employees permission to discriminate against white Republican Americans. DEI must die. Getting 180 likes. I'm not sure if they're making that references because the woman speaking is African American. Red Wave Press says something deeper is going on. Washington files have been deleted. Really? FEMA is trying to cover something up, getting 146 likes, which wouldn't be the first time the government did that. Florida One says, quote, sounds like a class action lawsuit in the making. Certainly the $750 for North Carolina residents while giving thousands to illegals is just immoral. Getting 53 likes. And I think that's one of the, not top reason people vote for Trump in the election, but I think a lot of Americans are irate, a lot of taxpayers are irate that you look at the funding of the federal government and who they're helping and where the allocation is being sent. I think there's a lot of frustration that it's not being sent to people who actually pay taxes and actually are in America. I don't see any contrarian statements. Just a dude says this needs to be an investigation. There's a FEMA sign, photoshops, it says funneling emergency money to aliens, which, yeah, they did that too, getting 88 likes. What was it, $640 million from FEMA went to illegals? Again, 640? Like, geez Louise. Oh, it's scrolling down more and more. Amit Shah parody account says agree, and there's a picture of Elon Musk saying, or a picture of Elon with text saying, rather, Elon cut 90% of Twitter's staff and is still working fine. Should we try with the government next? Getting 41 likes. About to say employees, where my head's at. Hugo Vale says, and she only lost her job. Even life in prison wouldn't be enough, getting 54 likes. Bev Harris says she's blaming it on Trump supporters, alleging that FEMA encountered hostility in houses with Trump signs, and also saying FEMA policies are to avoid confrontation. That senior management knew. The record will show that, getting 22 likes. Brady says we know, now let's hold them accountable, getting 35 likes. Daily Gondor says full audit quick trails, make that 50 likes. Yeah, again, it'd be fascinating to see the line item budget for FEMA and where they spend their money, resource allocation, as well as what orders are they rolling out. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think anyone's too surprising by this, that we're not giving people, not helping everyone equally, and the government's actually having preferences. And again, it'll be interesting to see, do they follow that paper trail? Do they follow up to the very top of FEMA? Do they have any conclusive evidence that there was a direct order from top leadership, or was it a, wink, wink, unspoken thing? Let me know what you think the odds are, and what do you think will be the end result? Because as always, I'll be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Hertz still feeling the hurt from their Tesla purchase a couple years back. Which, yeah, for a rental car company, if you have to drive and, worry about people not charging the car, that alone, to me, was a big red flag of, do you think this is a really good idea? Don't get me wrong, it's great PR for Tesla. Got their stock to jump up a couple of years ago. It's revolutionary to have a large, massive fleet order for an EV manufacturer for the actual renting industry. Now, this comes to us thanks to Teslarati.com. They have a little picture of little Tesla cars right there. Now, this is also thanks to Joey Klender, who's a writer over there, saying, quote, Hertz continues to get thrashed by EVs, updates, plan for massive fire sale. Now, say, quote, Hertz revealed during its Q3 earnings call that it's continuing to get thrashed by massive electric vehicle purchases it made several years ago, as value of the EV fleet continues to depreciate, which, that's another issue, is that they're depreciating at a much greater rate than traditional internal combustion engine type of vehicle. They say, quote, in October 2021, Hertz announced that it bought 100,000 EVs from Tesla for, geez Louise, $4.2 billion, which, well, I'm not the best at math. Let's pull up the calculator here. And well, actually, it'll be a good math lesson, especially for people who went to the public school system like myself. So 4.2 billion, let's see. Throw that in the calculator here, divided by 100,000. And that will give us our cost per vehicle. We've now done more good than some public schools in the United States, which is quite depressing, actually, when I think about it. But they're very busy teaching gender stuff and indoctrinating kids. Reason 9 billionth to homeschool your kids, but I partially digress. Now that gives us cost a unit of $42,000 per EV. Now they say, scrolling down here really quick though, which, yeah, it seems about average. And it's one of those things where, yeah, Elon historically does not give any discounts, even to himself or family members. Yeah, 100,000, 200 million, 4 billion, by about 100,000 EVs. I'm actually a little shocked myself. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say if they were to do that deal with GM or Ford or one of the big, automobile companies, they get an even steeper, they get a big discount price per unit, like most things in life. Now they say, quote, it was the rental's attempt to adding sustainable powertrains to its fleet as it went to Tesla because of the company's prowess in the industry. However, massive price cuts from Tesla lineup brought in large-scale losses to Hertz as the value of the fleet was reduced overnight. Since then, the company has been struggling with the effects of the purchase, which also include EVs from Polestar, which about 10 people have bought those past couple of years. All the spin-off from Volvo, used to be the parent company. Initially, Hertz was doing all well with the EV strategy, but it lost its CEO and decided to begin a fire sale of the EVs in an effort to limit the losses. In January 2024, Hertz said it had come to a, quote, strategic decision to begin selling EVs, attempting to recoup losses and put a bandage over the damage it had already felt. It continued this plan in August, as it said it would, quote, sell tens of thousands of EVs in its fleet to help diminish the losses. Things have continued, and now the goal of how many now it has a goal of how many EVs it wants to have as fleet by the end of 2024 during the company's earnings calls, and will likely be finished by the EV sales by the end of 2025. Now, Hertz aims to sell 30,000 EVs by the end of 2024, and it aims to have a small fleet that will align with how many EVs it rents out to customers, not an over-concentration of the powertrain, which, yeah, again, I'm not sure how many people want to rent these, especially, one of the biggest detriments of renting vehicles is so many people don't put gas in the darn car, which kind of similar to how people back in my day, they didn't actually rewind the VHS tape, so you'd have a fine where they use a video cassette, which, yeah, they actually use magnetic tape for videos back in the day, I tell you what. But it'd be an inconvenience to the store. They charge a premium for that because, again, it's going to cost them time, money, and energy. And with EVs, so many people don't put enough gas in the cars. That's going to be a huge bottleneck in terms of, you have people return the EVs. It takes more than about how much time does it take to refill a car? A minute? And yet for an EV, what's it going to take? Hours to potentially, depending on how depleted the batteries are. So to me, in terms of like a rental fleet, that's why I'd be pretty hesitant on doing like a mass rollout. Now, they say that, quote, in an earnings call, was not friendly in regards to the company's finances as well. It reported a net loss of 68 cents per share, while Wall Street estimated a loss of 46 cents per share. So, yeah, that's even really, really bad for the company. And another thing is long-term, we'll see what the long-term maintenance costs of these vehicles are. But yeah, Tesla, good for Tesla. They made the sale, don't get me wrong. But yeah, from Hertz to go all in, they're still struggling to get these off the books, still costing depreciation and value loss. Yeah, I gotta say Hertz going all in and still having to deal with this issue. Gotta say this is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.